I'm not sure if I know what you mean when you say any excusable way. The fact that you use the word
sound too good.
Well, I mean, the only way to coexist with animals is to respect their existence. You ever seen anything like that before? How does it make you feel?
Not so good. Worse for them, though, eh?
Yeah, man, for sure. This is all standard legal footage. Meat, dairy, egg industries and many other industries. As you can see, these are ducks. But it's all stuff you would see in the stores that say free range, local, organic, humane certified, all that. Would you say that you would call yourself someone who would be against animal abuse?
Well, it's kind of a loaded question, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is a setup for a purpose to have those conversations. But
I'm sure most people would say they're against animal abuse, but embrace it whether they want to or not, by what they eat.
So you inherently see a contradiction with that?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So do you think it's possible to really be against it if you're paying for those very things that you say you're against?
So I would have to put my hands up personally,
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that.
Do you think there's a way that, obviously yourself, ideally, more than assume you're a vegan, you would rather everyone be a vegan? Is there a way for those who are ultimately never going to go that way to work towards a more sustainable source of food where it's not harming the animals, if at least to be eating them, but to do it in a more ethical way? Is that maybe, we could achieve?
While I appreciate the intention of where that comes from, it's essentially rooted in trying to do the least harm. And I actually think that we share that belief. Veganism is just taking that to the degree that it can be taken to. So I would never advocate to exploit someone and kill them in a better way. I would say that would be doing the animals a disservice. Like, if you were in that animal's position, would you want your oppressor to exploit you, like, less painfully, or would you prefer the other option to be free from that? I mean, I'm just here to get through to people who have a conscience and who have a moral compass and who have a drop of empathy to say, well, if that was happening to me, I would not want to be exploited. I would want to have the right to my own life. Like, you're always going to have humans killing humans in the world. You're always going to have racism, child abuse. You're always going to have animal abuse. Yeah, people are always going to do immoral things, but you can never get through to those people. I don't consider it effective activism to like spend time with people like that. But I know you're not in that category. You came here, you gave me a bit of your time. You're asking questions that just tell me that you're not in that camp. But what do you feel like is stopping you from making changes?
Yeah, well, I mean, there's no real deep answer to it, I guess.
Yeah.
It's tough. I wasn't expecting this today, so I'm not giving honest.
And I'm not trying to trap you.
I know that, but it's I gotta watch how I speak, I guess. I'm part of the same rat race as everybody else, where it's easy, it's convenient, it's oftentimes cheaper just to go and get something that's there you go. There's your advertisement right there. It's $2.99 a cheeseburger, and
they have vegan options in there.
Do they?
Yeah. I've had it. It's not bad, actually.
That actually allows me a question back. So there's somewhere that supports eating meat and exploiting animals, but they also do vegan options.
Yeah.
So should we entertain a business like that, or should we at least support vegan?
Yeah. Because purchases of vegan products shows the demand, and this animal products are an industry that, like all businesses, work on the principle of supply and demand. If people create products and they're not in demand, people aren't financially funding them, then it's not financially viable to produce that. More people buy vegan products, less animals are bred into existence over time. Veganism is clearly on the rise.
Just it's clearly on the rise.
So
how do you feel in terms of like the trajectory? How positive do you think?
Man, it's going to take a really long time, and I don't expect the world to go vegan overnight. But I also think that, like, for those people who care about ethics, who care about making the world a better place, who have some degree of principle and claim to know right from wrong, just put that into practice in as many aspects of your life as you can. I would never harm a human for no unnecessary reason or pleasure if I didn't need to. Do you know what I mean? Like, animals haven't done anything wrong to anybody. They're not exploiting anybody. These animals can't defend themselves. Look at that man. He's just stunning that animal, electrocuting them in the back of their head.
Yeah.
Like this is killing these animals for their flesh, maybe their wool. You know, this is the thing, right? See about like, and it's like I said earlier, I understand that intention comes from a good place, but see the industrialization of farming, like factory farming. Because people like to say to me now, well, what if like you just lived on a bit of land and you had your own animals and blah blah blah. That started from there. That is how when we became like settlers, we settled down, we bred animals, and it was small, it was local.
Industrialized.
Yeah, but the thing that led to that getting out of control is the very belief that it's okay to use others against their will, to exploit them for their bodies, and to slaughter them when they're all used up. Do you know what I mean?
So you mentioned about their will. I haven't really given much thought. I mean, obviously, if someone is just killing for the sake of a nice fur coat, I don't support that.
Yeah.
In terms of how we use animals, in any sense outside of food, would you say there's no real positive or like worthwhile way in which we interact with animals?
I guess you have to like
is there medicine,
like context and
materials that are necessary?
Well, I think what's important is the context, and what's important is the perspective of the individual that's been exploited and harmed. Do you know what I mean? Medicines. Yes, while it currently is legal that like so many medicines, most medicines have to be tested on animals. What I do know about that is 95% of all research done on animals doesn't transfer to humans. So
it's a big number.
Yeah, it's huge. It's crazy, to be honest, and I feel like it's really archaic now to be doing these things to animals. Like see if you even look into animal testing alone, man, it's so crazy. It's so crazy, But generally, is it necessary? And if you were in their position, like how would you feel about it? I think the victim's perspective is the most important one.
100.
But
I gotta be honest with you, man, a very well thought out answer. That's not what I meant by medicine. I'm showing my lack of knowledge here when I said
it's okay.
Obviously, food is something, something weird or whatever, but in terms of, you said that there's no real like way we can use wool or any sort of benefit from animals. When I said medicines, I just wondered, is there something in their bones that is good for humans? I was wondering, is there any excusable way for us to interact with animals other than just, to live by love?
Yeah.
Apart from food, is what do you know what I mean?
I'm not sure if I know what you mean when you say any excusable way. The fact that you use the word
doesn't sound too good.
Well, exactly. Do you know what I mean? I mean, the only way to coexist with animals is to respect their existence and to say like us, they're sentient, they have a preference to enjoy life and be free from harm as far as possible. Veganism is just the living embodiment of that. That's literally all it is. It's like, and you know what? Truth being told, it goes beyond animals. Like, you have to think about all the humans that are exploited in slaughterhouses and factory farms and in these places where they have to do ungodly things. Like the last guy I spoke to worked in a slaughterhouse and he quit after 2 weeks.
Wow.
What does that tell you? So you have to think about the humans that are being exploited and being forced to do this ugly, horrible work, But I mean,
it's just like the most terrible things in the world, like war. It's an ignorance, almost deliberate ignorance. We can't process it, or we don't want to process it. And until it's staring in the face, you think about it again.
Yeah, like that was it for me, man. Like, I was in this oblivious bubble, eating animals for like 23 years of my life, thinking that I was an animal lover, that I cared about animals. And while I'll still say, like, in that point in my head and my awareness, I was, but I just stumbled across a documentary and a guy was giving a speech about it. Well, this documentary is called Dominion, but before I seen this, I seen a guy give a speech, and he was talking about the ethics and the exploitation and the use of animals, and I'd never even heard of the word vegan. This was back like 7 years ago, so I'd never really heard of it. I'd never heard of it ever, and as soon as he mentioned it and said what it was, I was like, right, whatever this is, I want to be a part of that, because now that I know what happens, I'm completely against it. And I was actually quite angry that all my life I'd been conditioned to be oblivious and to not critically think about the consequences of my actions.
It's that word brainwash, and it doesn't just apply to animal cruelty.
Oh yeah, man.
Everything.
everything.
Like, I used to be like a lot more open-minded than I feel these days. It's just like more of a consumer or whatever. Like me and my friend were talking about this over a smoke the other night, and I was like, just because you've been awake before doesn't mean you can't fall asleep.
It's very true, man. It's very, very true.
So
because
this is very like necessary for me in my life to bump into. So I appreciate that.
I respect that, man. And you know how I can give testament to that? Because there are forces out there that are actively pushing this on us. People like to say about how vegans force their views on others. Propaganda, advertising, every corner, every avenue, every bus stall. Here's a burger, eat this, have this for a cheap price.
Yeah, it's
$2.99.
like, look at this guy's put up in the middle of the street. I don't want to see that. And it's like,
that looks much more pleasant. Do you know what I mean? You must know how like programming works. You don't have to be consciously paying attention to that. The fact that it's in your periphery, it's going into your subconscious mind, and it's
the fact that,
do you know what I mean?
That this gives me an option to either embrace it or resist it because I'm aware of it.
Man, it's true. And the thing about animal agriculture, like, look at that ad. That is so desirable. A double cheeseburger, a fucking strawberry milkshake. It looks really good. You can actually get a vegan version of that. Maybe not in that particular store, but it exists. But they tempt you with the end product, the delicious appearance of it, and the price tag and all these things. And it is all psychology and marketing and social engineering. No, you don't. You do not. Exactly. It's
the same with even the drink or the milk they choose.
Totally, man. Totally.
I have to go. It's the friend who first introduced me to veganism and vegetarianism was waiting for me at the City
It's very interesting, man. All I'll ask you is, if you were in their position, how quickly would you want you to change?
I mean, there's no right answer, but straight away.
It's true, man. Can I give you some information?
Of course you can.
That's all I'm here for, man.
You're a great ambassador. You've been nothing but respectful. You haven't forced anything onto me. What's your name?
Thomas.
Thomas, I'm Connor.
Cheers, man. My Instagram's there, man. If you have any questions, hit me up. And this documentary, as I say, it's hard to watch, man. But if we're paying to do these things to animals, the least we can do is bear witness to it. I would encourage you to watch it. And man, just message me any questions. There's no judgment. No, I'm just trying to help out.
Pleasure talking to you, Thomas. And
have a great day,
you're doing
man.
really good work. So
appreciate it, man.
Thank you for that.
Thanks so much.
Have a good day.
Peace, man.